gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
It's time for the Early Bird Special. Bringing you the best stories from the world of sports and sports entertainment. Now, here are your hosts, Sparky and Burdick.
Let's talk about what we got into on Raw last night, though. I mean, I know we're waiting for our guy KG, who will be with us any minute here. But, Sparky, what did you think? I mean, I personally can't wait for Summer Slam. They got, I think, the majority of the card figured out. We still are awaiting a U.S. Women's Championship match for Julia. But for the vast majority of it, we have our championship matches lined up. Do you have one that you're excited about here going forward into SummerSlam?
Not Jelly Roll. I'm looking forward to seeing Dom back in, and I was personally glad to see him not run and hide after last night. After his
the AJ Styles thing, though, has gotten really funny, right? The disguises that we've seen him jump into, the fake doctor to run down there at ringside. The janitor was great, and like it's very cartoony. And I think that's kind of what you're getting with Dom's run as the Intercontinental Champion here, is that you're getting that humor that we've kind of been missing in a lot of these other storylines. Because, I mean, you see the storyline going on with Roman and Seth's group and all the seriousness around that and the injuries and stuff. You need some lightheartedness in this. And I think Dom is the perfect wrestler to do that. Because not only is he a skilled wrestler, but he's very funny. Much like Solo, who you'll get a lot of that as well. But I think Dom just is a great guy that you can throw into these comedic situations, especially the cartoon Looney Tunes-like situations, and he really just excels. Because, I mean, look how fast he bolted out of the stadium when he realized that AJ Styles was the doctor trying to help him yesterday and give him CPR.
What is all the hate with Gunther?
What do you mean? In what terms?
Like
just the hatred
I know
from the
some
fans?
people don't like him, but was it just that crowd last night, or to the fact that they were booing him where he couldn't talk?
So I think it's just starting to grow that Gunther is a really, really good bad guy and is by himself. And
Probably why I like him.
I agree with you. But it is the persona evolving, and I think the fans really just saw the championship change from Jay to Gunther as, like, I guess Goldberg needed some sort of gold to go after. You know what I mean? And Goldberg wasn't about to wrestle Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Jey Uso would have been a great opponent for Goldberg. I think Gunther was a better choice. So obviously you need Gunther to go after something. And
it's a better match with him and CM Punk, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But maybe that's the only way I see CM Punk getting a title.
Yeah, because again, one of my main rules in wrestling, right? Face versus face does not work. It doesn't. I'm sorry. Like, it's very rare when it works. Your Rock versus Stone Colds, even those weren't really face versus faces, because Stone Cold or The Rock were a bad guy usually during those. Now, you may have been a fan favorite bad guy like your Rhea Ripley's, but it's still a bad guy. But in this case, obviously, I think you're right. Like, putting Jey Uso against CM Punk wouldn't work. So you needed a bad guy for Punk to go up against so Punk can get his title, and then we can continue that story and finally get him to Mania as a WrestleMania or as a champion of wrestling instead of just a contender. But I think the hatred for Gunther is coming around the fact that the fans, now that the whole Goldberg thing is over, they're going back to, okay, we don't like you. Like, we never liked you. The only reason we liked you is because we wanted to see you beat up the old guy.
Yeah.
Now we're going back to
a fan favorite.
Exactly. I need CM Punk with I need CM Punk with the belt. I need Jey Uso getting another shot, because that's what I heard last night. The most was they kept chanting, "You choked," or "You got choked out."
Yeah.
You tapped out. They keep referencing the Jey Uso loss. So I think that's more what it is, that they're just coming back to the whole, you're a heel, we don't like you. And honestly, I think all heels at this point, Dom has set a absolute incredible standard that all heels have to be, getting booed out of the stadium. Otherwise, you're not doing your job right. He has finally joined us. Our friend.
I will say Gunther did kill it with the mic last night.
Yes, he did, as he usually does. He's actually very good on the microphone.
KG
has joined us. Sir,
Hello, good sirs.
How are you?
Doing great this Tuesday morning, and the IWC community is kind of asunder for the build or some would say lack thereof, leading to our next SummerSlam event. How you guys feeling about it?
See, I'm happy you brought that up, because the first thing that we brought up was how we were feeling about SummerSlam. I personally am happy with it. We have the majority of the card, I feel, built, at least for day one and half of day two. But personally, outside of the Jelly Roll match, I think each and every one of them have some sort of quality that are going to bring a great thing to SummerSlam this year.
Well, I would have to agree with you in those parts, and not to nitpick like most people would in this wrestling community that we discuss online. I think what we're seeing is, because it's our first two-night SummerSlam build, that leading into this, they're going to put the full capabilities of the WWE media machine behind it. Thus, as far as celebrity guest interactions, high-quality matches, flushing out feuds, starting new storylines, and hopefully we can see more screen time from my boy Karrion Kross, because after last night, they put on one hell of a show.
And finally, he gets a win on television.
With a little help from a pipe, but
I mean,
I love it.
The bad guy needs to be a bad guy.
I love the bad guys. So,
although I am going to echo something that I've seen from one of my favorite wrestling talking heads on the internet, Santi, from if you follow him, he's a great Instagram wrestling guy. He brings up a really good point that the WWE is kind of getting lazy with a lot of these storylines, that we're seeing way too many faces with rib injuries, knee injuries going into these matches, like old school. When are we going to get why do we need to dumb down some of these faces so much instead of just allowing the heel to be a bigger star? You know what I mean?
Well, I think what happens is, sometimes you have a face pushed on the crowd, as we've seen over the years, and they regurgitate it back. Mm-hmm. They sense the push. They don't like the push. They want it to organically happen. And it's rare that you see organic face turns happen. Somebody can start off as a heel, much like Karrion Kross, and become so beloved by the fans for what they put into their character that they become a tweener, which leads them to not a hard face turn, but because they haven't changed their character, the fan just gets behind it so much that you look at them or feel as if they are a face, but they have not changed anything that their on-screen character is doing, much like Karrion Kross. And now the fans were chanting, "We want Kross" last night. You know, I'm mad that they snuffed his entrance.
I mean, yeah, but at this point, I don't think we could say that anymore, because we have to remember, in America, they get snuffed. Everywhere else, they don't.
Yeah.
The only reason they get snuffed for us is because America has to sell some advertisement.
Now, nonetheless, that's still important for building this guy's future fan base.
That's fair.
Because that's one hell of an entrance. You know?
It is.
And until we get, like maybe a picture-in-picture type of thing of like, hey, we're running the ads and we still get to show you what's happening live, which will retain more viewership in the long run, which I can see WWE eventually getting to.
They do that on actual television. On SmackDown, if you watch it, they'll do it that way. And NXT.
Yes.
Netflix has yet to actually do that.
Exactly. They've got to negotiate something else out there. But let's go ahead and get into Raw just off the rip, man. CM Punk and Gunther's promo exchange. How do you guys feel about that?
So we were literally just talking about that before you came in.
My thing is, why all the hate on Gunther? I mean, Gunther is one of the things, but it'll bounce back to what you were just saying about, the heels, getting the hate, and until the point that they want the heel to win. I'm a Gunther guy through in and throughout. So whether it was,
you cheer for the Russian during the Rocky movie, don't you?
I do, because that's He-Man. So when I look at Dolph Lundgren, I think of He-Man.
True,
but my thing is I'm a Gunther guy. I'm not a CM Punk fan. I've said it over and over. But I mean, I was just surprised all the hate against him last night.
Well, you've got the Yeet Army still sore about him, taking that strap off of Jey Uso. But storyline-wise, it does make sense for what we just seen happen with Goldberg and his quote-unquote retirement match, which I don't think is really going to stick because the way he's complaining. We might see him do a one-off in AEW.
That's like don't
be shocked about that, folks, if you do. But nonetheless, I would have to say that Gunther is a victim of his own success. The man can not have a bad match. You could put him in a match with a wet pillow, and he's gonna chop the crap out of that pillow. You're probably gonna be like, "Damn, that's crazy, man."
That
You're
poor
gonna
pillow.
be entertained. Yeah, he's putting the pillow to sleep, folks. I'm just saying. The man can't do wrong in the ring, but being a victim of your own success in that matter, which we've illustrated over with certain examples over, the course of WWE, people that are just so good at their job that the fans are just, well, we knew that was going to happen. Well, that's where you get Paul and the team to come in there and shake something up. Now, we discussed about Seth Rollins' potential injury being a work, and more as the weeks go on,
it's not.
People are speculating that, oh yeah, this and that. Now, if it's legit, which I tend to still think it's legit, but if I'm being worked, I'm along for the ride because, man, you guys are giving me some good television right now with the discussion points of notice that if CM Punk wins this match at SummerSlam, we still have Seth Rollins that can make an immediate return and cash in and thus fulfill what he's always said: as long as I'm breathing, CM Punk will not be a champion in WWE, which I'm excited to see if it plays out, it plays out that way.
I don't know, dude, because, again, he addressed it on the Rich Eisen show when he was hosting.
That was also the same weekend where we saw Jelly Roll, put something through a table.
That's very true.
I think the injury is real, but I just don't think the extension of the injury, the
severity.
Yeah, I just think he'll be back earlier than
he's lying, but he's not lying.
Exactly.
Kind of a thing. Like that I can agree with. Maybe it's just
they're ribbing us.
Yeah, he extended it a little bit because, I mean, honestly, bringing up the point of what's the easiest injury to fake, but for those of you who watched TNA Slammiversary over the weekend, Trick Williams faked a knee injury and won the championship back. So
it's great.
It's not out of the realm of possibility that the WWE just threw it back in our face and showed us, hey, we could be lying to you and you don't even know it.
And you'll still love us and watch the product for it.
I will say literally. The promo that they put out for that new show that's starting next Tuesday.
Yes.
Unreal.
That looked fake.
It honestly kind of did.
That looked like a promo. I'm like, oh, come on. Don't use this.
They're going to blur the line as much as they possibly can until that show comes out, because I do believe they're going to, pull
we'll
the curtain.
See some real stuff.
I think Triple H is the master of that, most definitely.
Yes.
100%. Before we move on to the next thing, though, I got to bring up, because I've had a couple people reach out to me about this, and I got to get your thoughts on this, KG, but we have seen this partnership between WWE and TNA for the last couple months, specifically between WWE's feeder system of NXT and all of TNA's superstars or wrestling stars or whatever they end up calling themselves now. Do you think that TNA is actually gaining anything from this? Because everything I keep seeing, their champions are losing every time. Their wrestlers aren't really shown on WWE television outside of like the main guys, like the main 2 or 3. And even then, it's for like maybe an episode. Joe Hendry is the only one that's been on NXT extensively, and that is one that they have been very vocal about wanting to sign and take away from TNA the minute his contract is up.
All right. I hear you. I feel you. Let me just throw some things out into the universe on that situation. From my point of view, this benefits WWE nothing at all. I say that because think about what they're doing. If the rumors are true about TNA becoming a feeder system and being bought by WWE within the future, all these things make perfect sense, because you can't add another show on your current networks. So you go to a show that already has showtime on a network.
Right.
You partner with them, you exchange talent, but really you're building the brand that you're guest starring on. Now, these moves where we're seeing these NXT, these WWE superstars hold TNA titles, that's not a WWE decision. That's a TNA writing decision. They are saying, we want these guys to hold our brand's belts, thus giving our brand visibility wherever else they may be, where our wrestlers cannot be visible at that time. I do understand it in a business sense, because really, if WWE wanted to be the monster that everybody knows they are, they could have just said, how much, double it again, and TNA would be NXT 3.0.
True.
Seriously. So to keep everything on brand, I think it benefits TNA entirely for WWE's future acquisition or procurement of talent for their roster. That's the only way.
See, but that's what I'm saying is that how does this benefit TNA at all? Because all this seems to me is it's like a poaching system for the WWE, or like you said, this is just TNA's tryout period to beat NXT 2.0 or 3.0, I guess, like you said.
Literally, and if let's just say it doesn't go that way contractually. Nonetheless, the brand partnership has ambassadored TNA into the WWE homes and audiences of fans that have been there with that company for 30 years. Now people are just now finding out that AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, they had previous careers in TNA that were phenomenal, pun intended, you know what I mean, to watch, literally. So when you get to that aspect and ratio of them including TNA's history with current WWE superstars, the on-brand marriage looks great on screen.
Right.
It's just another, I'd say, an alley-oop for WWE's writing to either, take advice from or example on things like not to do or to do. What situations work with certain superstars now that they might be able to plan a stake in and revisit in the future.
Hear me out on this, and this is just me, but throwing a devil's advocate thing in here, but I kind of feel like the acquisition of TNA, if that is true, we've already seen the acquisition of AAA, which is the Lucha Libre affiliate now for the WWE. If this is a move for them that they're just trying to essentially make another feeder system, don't you think this is more a move that Paul Levesque and Shawn Michaels are making to seriously say to AEW and everybody else, hey, we're here. The rest of y'all are here.
You're still down here.
None of you can touch us because all of our guys go to every other organization that we own and run it because they've already had the tag titles from AAA taken away by Legado del Fantasma. They've had TNA titles taken away by their feeder league kids. Like, there's been no real sign that TNA has had any chance to get the vice versa. In fact, the ones that have had a chance at an NXT title now work for NXT. Jordan Grace being the only one. Joe Hendry being the next one. I'm sure Mike Santana will be on that list in due time as well. And maybe even Moose. But to me, it seems like this is Triple H and Shawn Michaels looking at the entire cast of all of their competition and saying, we're putting you guys down here.
Well, you could look at it like that, or you could look at it like this, for the simple fact that TNA literally has just set up their redemption story for their next pay-per-view. All of our titles are gone. We've been invaded, invasion angle. We're taking a string from that.
We're threading that. I was thinking too.
We're threading that right through there. Basically, to put every single one of our TNA guys, once those titles are recaptured and reincorporated into the company, overnight. Literally, just like that. So look at Mike Santana and Joe Hendry not being able to recapture their world title for TNA. That just elevates Trick. Literally, he's a legit brand world champion in NXT and hasn't even hit the main roster. Nobody's done that. So we look at the aspect of those kind of things that'll elevate a superstar's potential growth for fan base exposure once we get those titles off of the Trick Williams and the JC Janes and all those guys right there. We're going to see who is tough enough, you like that one, huh? To literally come in there and knock off these WWE guys who are established already.
So do you think that in doing that, if the story goes the way you're thinking it goes, and we get the redemption story for TNA here coming in probably the next month or two right after SummerSlam, and I assume this is going to be an invasion storyline because that's the only thing that I can think of.
That's the way it's looking.
I was literally thinking the exact same thing while watching Slammiversary on Sunday. I was like, the only way I could see this ending is all of TNA getting a massive team together, the Hardys, the Nemeths, all the best of the best that they have.
Putting their differences aside.
Yeah, and they just run roughshod through NXT and steal everything back, including the stuff that they want, maybe the Heritage Cup and all these other not really huge championships from NXT that can leave and go to other organizations and stay as a mainstay there.
Do you see no Hardy return to the WWE?
Oh, I would love that.
Because I know they talked about it earlier.
They already kind of did it, though. I don't think you're going to get the same pop you got at WrestleMania a couple years ago during that ladder match. It's just, it's kind of done.
I think it's gonna happen, but the way it should happen, in a perfect world, which we know we don't live in, Edge and Christian's contract in A&W and AEW it's about to come up.
It's not
like next year.
I know where you're going with this, and the Dudleys are back too,
yeah,
and I get it.
We're
not running back the triple threat.
I'd rather see Goldust.
We're not going to be able to get that triple threat that we would like to see for nostalgic purposes this year or even next year. By the time it comes around, I think everybody will be fully retired.
No. Hear me out on this though.
I can see it. We didn't want to see Goldberg either, but
no, because
but nostalgia
is
one hell of
different
a drug, and they'll make a lot of money off of it if it goes down, because TNA is already teasing the Dudleys versus the Hardys one more time.
No, I get that, but here's my thing though. You're not going to get the triple threat again, because we already saw something similar to that when DX went up against the Brothers of Destruction just a couple years ago.
Jesus.
No one wants to see 2 or 3 tag teams that are all retired or aging out go up against each other. It's not the same.
The last part, we only got a few minutes left, so going back to Raw.
Folks, go on YouTube and watch that match, Brothers of Destruction, DX, Saudi Arabia. It was one of the worst.
Yeah, don't do that.
It was like watching your drunk uncles fight in the garage. It was bad.
Quick rundown real quick, though. Do you think that this entire redemption storyline for TNA will bolster them to be higher in the ratings than maybe AEW?
It's looking like it. And AEW's putting out some good product. Now, y'all know I'm notoriously known for being bad on AEW, but I'm also critical about WWE when they ain't got good storylines. So I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. AEW is starting to cook, and because of some of the things that WWE is doing, it's giving fans a reason to tune in and just see what the alternative product has, which is going to grow in more following when people are talking about it like how we're doing now.
It's going to take a little bit more for me.
It's going to take a crap ton more.
Just a couple weeks ago, y'all were telling me AEW was trash and it was unwatchable and it was garbage.
It still is to some degree.
But my going back to Raw, do you think this LWO?
LWO.
You think this LWO push is going to get them some tag titles?
They need it.
No, I just think that they needed to show some life in the tag division, especially as how New Day is really still at the forefront, harping on what they lost. You got Judgment Day holding it down. The Raw tag division needs a little bit more polishing than the SmackDown one right now, and really more TV time. They need to be more visible in what they can do, and they showed that last night, which was one hell of a match from the LWO. Seeing them go up against Judgment Day, I think we have a workhorse versus workhorse match with these teams. We're going to get some good wrestling as far as what we're going to see these guys be able to do that they haven't been able to showcase in a while with certain opponents. We've been seeing the War Raiders versus Judgment Day for a while.
Whatever happened to the War Raiders?
I think they're just getting some time off, maybe relegated to main event right now. They went through one hell of a season leading up to that loss, because they came back from injury. They put their bodies on the line. These are 300-pound men doing aerial moves like a gymnast that you shouldn't be able to do in the laws of physics. So shout out to them. But most definitely, I want to harp on something before we get out of here. The Sheamus and Rusev build on what it's looking like it's going to be. They're 1-1 right now. That's, as Jim Ross would say, that's a slobber knocker. So it's looking pretty good. But also, color on TV, which we haven't really seen a lot of on Raw. Karrion Kross got busted open last night during that match and leaned into it so well.
Rubbing it into his face was nuts.
Oh my! Kissing his wife and blood all over their faces. Like, man, this is the top-notch WWE TV wrestling I grew up on.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff right there that had me like, I want that guy's shirt. I want his action figure. I'm going to play him in the video game. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, for those young sickos out there that are like, oh, my God, I can't believe this. Oh, my God. That's who you want watching your product. Literally, with the guy like Karrion Kross, who's organically built from WWE. He has his, background in other affiliates and whatnot. But I really hope that this guy, via SummerSlam, gets his flowers, man. They've been really trying to act like he's not that important. I don't know if it's on purpose or if it's by design, but either way, he's getting over, and I like it.
I'm telling you right now, I think it's by design, because at first, I don't think they thought he was going to work out.
Chris, I got to ask you, and Sparky, how do you guys feel about Ludwig Kaiser's El Grande Americano Spanish. He's German, Austrian, excuse me, and he's fluent in Spanish, but he still has a German accent. This is wild.
Again,
this is so culturally clashing wildness.
I've never heard a German Spanish accent, so that was a first for me. But I mean,
blew my mind.
Good
bro.
for you, I guess.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm still horrible.
I wasn't huge on the El Grande storyline to begin with. This entire thing has been kind of just meh to me. But
same here.
I enjoy that they're giving him something to do. I enjoy that
because he was on the chopping block.
Yeah.
But no, the last couple minutes we have, the end of Raw.
Roman Reigns.
How do you feel?
Well, look, I'm just going to keep
This is going to be
a
match at SummerSlam. We realize this. We're getting Roman and Jay against Braun and Braun.
Yeah, the Brawns.
The Brawns.
We're getting the Brawns versus the Usos.
Technically.
In a sense, technically. But
I did love
Spear
that,
versus Spear. Eventually, we're going to come to this Braun Breaker Roman Reigns clash. Who has the stronger spear? We seen this kind of foreshadowed in NXT back in the day when Paul Heyman went and represented Braun Breaker. We're starting to see him lean into I am the future of this with kind of a sense of egomaniac kind of just bleeding through him, which I think could affect Seth Rollins' return once he gets back into the forefront of that group. Right. The fact that Paul's storyline had an implication of him leading this faction and Roman saying, hey, I would have done it a while ago.
Well, we kind of felt that was going to be the out with Heyman anyways.
Yeah, and Heyman, his character's a slime ball, so it was befitting of him to try to, approach Roman with an offer of, hey, we can make this right or whatnot.
I love you, tribal chief, and the April
and all that was funny. That took me back to a great time in wrestling.
You know what's funny though? That entire ending spear, the double spear with the two of them. Was I the only one that noticed that Jay was pointing at Roman saying, you getting him and I'm getting him? Or what's happening?
I thought they were going to do
I did too. That's why I see Jay
jump.
point at Braun Breaker. So I think they're going to do an X formation. And then he takes one step that way, realizes Roman's going straight and says, oh, never mind. And then tackles the guy in front of him. I was like,
adjusting on the fly.
I just thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, wow, this was actually not meant to happen this way. That's actually pretty cool. But
I think it's set up for a great SummerSlam. It's set up for a great situation that we're going to look into a little bit deeper.
Yes.
As far as Seth Rollins' legitimacy or illegitimacy of injury. And just look out for a lot of swerves and pivots during this next week and build towards SummerSlam.
Final is that match that we just mentioned, the Jey Uso Roman Reigns versus Braun and Braun match that has yet to be announced. Is that the main event of night 1 or 2 of SummerSlam?
I would give it night 1, and of course, the John Cena,
Cody Rhodes.
Well, actually, I was gonna say because
are we getting Cody Lander too? Because that promo on Friday made me feel like we're getting Cody Lander.
I think actually Roman Reigns match might open night 2.
I was gonna say.
And Cody's might close night 2, and definitely we get the Seth Rollins CM Punk happening maybe night 1.
Roman has main evented SummerSlam for the last decade? Or something like that. Like it's close. Like SummerSlam was him and Brock Lesnar's thing. So I don't know exactly which.
Especially if it comes to cash-ins and stuff like that.
Exactly.
How is Seth Rollins going to top his most famous cash-in?
How is he going to top Naomi's just from a week ago?
Right.
So
and I gotta love. She's growing on me, dude. That laugh at the end of yesterday's
the maniacal
promo,
laugh of
I love it, man.
It's hilarious.
She's got that laugh down.
She's leading into it. Yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely. We got to take a break, though. My friend, thank you for your time. As always, we will talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. You guys take care, man, and make sure you guys follow us on YouTube where we are streaming live every day.
Yes. And before we go, this was just something I wanted to bring up. Did I hear that you had a new single or an album coming out?
Yes, actually I do. I do right now. You can go on Instagram at 24kg. That's TWENTYFOURKG. And I am rolling out some products for the end of the summer. So
Love
if
it.
you guys, got some tunes and you got some time, check your boy out. Thank you. Appreciate
Love
it.
24kg.
Absolutely.
Hey.
You will enjoy it, I promise. We got to take a break, pay some bills. Thank you as well, my friend. As always, this is the Early Bird Special on 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, ESPN Vegas.